Change is the only constant in life. It is Sunai Yoga. What you must have not heard is that while we say that change is the only constant, there is nothing constant about it. On the contrary, it is a constantly evolving, extensive process involving several physical, mental, financial, and psychological modifications, making it the most complicated process of all. Change is difficult. Now, how people see change, however, what happens actually, there's more than meets the eyes, isn't it? We'll deep dive into this complicated process of change and break it down to understand its complexity using the model created by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was a Swiss-American psychiatrist who spent a lot of time with patients having terminal illness. She witnessed that almost all patients underwent the same journey of change when they were informed of their fatal illness. After a thorough research, Elizabeth proposed that this journey of change, which she called as a Kubler-Ross change curve, will be true in case of any dramatic life-changing situation. As you can see, a person goes through 5 significant stages in this change curve. The first one of it being shock, leading us to wonder how could this even happen to me? Or it is just not possible. And if it is, why it has to be me? Or denial, where we continuously pacify our mind saying that there got to be some mistake here, or something like, God cannot let this happen to me. We simply don't want to accept the change. Change begins to frustrate us as we start to compare it with our former lifestyle. Now, mind you, the former lifestyle may not have been great, but now it feels relatively better. That is the power of comfort zone, you see. With each passing day becoming difficult, frustration advances into anger. Gradually, the change intensifies our thoughts and emotions, pushing us into depression. We steadily keep falling like a rock until we hit the rock bottom, where it feels absolutely hopeless, stressful, and down. Hence, is rightly called the valley of despair. As we keep drowning in this valley of despair, there comes the decisive stage, where we are expected to make a choice between further drowning ourselves in misery and staying in depression, or accepting the change and bouncing back. This is the turning point, but bouncing back ain't easy. It demands grit, perseverance, and strong will. This is where some of us can self motivate, while some or many may require tremendous support from our loved ones. एक बार जो मैंने कमिटमेंट कर दी तो मैं अपने भी नहीं सुनता. This marks the beginning of the experimentation stage, and for the very first time, we accept the change and agree that change is inevitable and irreversible, and we have to adapt. We wake up to a new challenge every day, train our mind to be emotionally strong, do things we never did, seek guidance from seasoned people, and many more. Our motivation levels start to rise up with each step, and every step towards positivity wins us better results, further motivating us to keep learning and integrating new ways of functioning in our life. Isn't change a long and a complicated process? Let's put this into perspective using the analogy of the COVID pandemic. As you know, pandemic was the biggest change in our lives. If you shall recall, we encountered the news about an outbreak in China reeled in the news crawlers. It was shocking to believe that a minuscule virus born from nowhere can be so dreadful to spread like wildfire and engulf the entire country. We kept resisting the expert opinions, which confirmed that the virus has a high probability of spreading worldwide, and we remained in denial, believing that the situation will be arrested within the Great Wall. Unfortunately, it didn't. The virus knew no bounds and transitioned from a local outbreak to an epidemic and into a devastating pandemic at the blink of an eye. The virus was novel and here to stay, proliferating each day. The world slowed down, economies collapsed, and survival became uncertain. Companies, businesses, restaurants started shutting down to arrest the spread, and soon fear conquered the whole planet. Layoffs started, some started flocking to their hometowns, and everybody started hoarding essentials. The world was filled with trauma and was almost on the verge of anarchy in the race to survive. Soon the health authorities and governments introduced restrictions, and finally the whole world came to a standstill with the lockdown. The rising mortality rate reported by media was building up frustration. Uncertainty loomed over all minds, and life became absolutely unpredictable. We kept drowning deeper in the valley of despair due to depression, and soon frustration escalated to anger. Remember the decisive stage? The decisive stage where we either choose to drown ourselves in misery and stay in depression, or accept the fact and bounce back. I'm sure all of us who are listening to this are the brave souls who accepted this dreadful change and decided to bounce back. We agreed to take formidable actions to ensure safety of ours and our loved ones. Work from home solution helped several companies and businesses to operate remotely. We followed the directives announced by the official health authorities, like social distancing, quarantine, masks, sanitization, no social gatherings, etc. We were ready to experiment anything irrespective of the rationale, credibility of the source, or any proven result. Now, it may sound crazy, but yes, we did light candles, rang bells, banged utensils, sanitized our vegetables, chanted, and whatnot to banish the virus until our final march to vaccination. The COVID vaccination drive, mind you, witnessed one hell of a coverage in the history of mankind. Having done that, gradually we absorbed and integrated all the prescribed measures in our daily lifestyle, like hybrid work setting, so much so that majority of us now don't want to work from office permanently, as if it never existed. High degree of hygiene, personal transportation. One thing about it, while a lot of companies suffered losses, automakers witnessed a sharp increase in the demand for personal vehicles. Use of sanitizer. Like I know of a friend who still orders 5 liter cans of sanitizer. I wonder if he still takes a sanitizer bath. Wearing masks, etc. etc. You see, we went through shock, denial, frustration, experimentation, and finally integration during this change. Isn't this a long and a complicated process? Now think of the poor child attending school on his first day. He's shocked on the first day as he tries to decipher the reason of this change to be with stranger teachers and classmates from his hunky-dory life at home with lovable parents. Adjusting in a new family post-marriage, or tuning to the new culture, traditions and expectations. Imagine a person starting his new job with expectations of high performance in Godspeed, being deployed in a job role we have no experience of, and especially when we are basking in the comfort zone of the current job role. Again, reminding that the current job role may not be desirable, but undoubtedly the new job role is overwhelming. Switching to a new city or a new country, adapting and assimilating into a new culture, losing the most important member and assuming the role of a breadwinner in the family, taking up a new challenge, making your first video on social media, accepting bald as your new reform look forever. The list is endless. Let us now observe 15 seconds of silence to mull over this good for thought and recall if change was easy. I'm sure you will agree with me that it wasn't. But yet, we still expect quick results from ourselves and also from others. We tend to forget that adapting to a change is a lengthy process, and each one of us have our unique capabilities, and thereby the time taken to adapt will be unique to each individual, making it a unique learning curve. So remember not to be harsh on ourselves when we are undergoing a change, and also exercise patience with people if they're undergoing one. And usually our memories are short term, and we tend to forget that an expert was a beginner someday. Maybe we can't help everybody physically or financially, but the least we can do in a change is to listen and empathize. The good news is that change, जिसे हम परिवर्तन कहते हैं, मुश्किल तो है but मुमकिन भी है. You have to be positive and be determined to rise up from the valley of despair and motivate the ones trapped in it and trying to rise. And finally, as they say about change, I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails. Hope this helps. Happy learning. Thank you so much.